Hello?
Hi, who's this?
This is Lydia.
I'm sorry?
Lydia Brown.
Oh, hi, Lydia. How are you? Thank
Very
you.
good, Michael.
I'm just waiting for some more people to join in. You know, we're just chit-chatting now. And we've got Diana on, but I haven't heard her. So she's just listening in. And Brittany's on, and you. I'm sorry. So.
Good. How are you?
I'm hanging in there.
Well, that doesn't sound great.
Well, I'm having some back issues. So I'm just trying to make the best of everything. Hi, Susan. I knew this.
Hi, how you doing?
Good.
Good. What's up? What's new? Are you going to the chiropractor?
Yeah.
And is he giving you treatments?
Yeah, it's good, but it's not often enough. So.
Oh, okay.
I'm gonna go to the gym tomorrow and get a nice back massage. That always makes me feel better. So, just playing it by ear there. We have Brittany, Lydia, Diana, and you, Susan, on the call with us.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And I was interested to hear from from Diana, because she's a really good advocate, and I was interested to see what she would say. I mean, I'm interested in what all of you have to say, to be honest with you. But we all know each other, and it's the first time that Diana's on the call. So, what's up, Henry?
Hey, guys.
How you doing?
Good. I just come back from Long Island.
Oh. Well,
What's doing? Yeah, but up there.
We've got a number of people on the call here.
Yeah, I see that.
2, 4, 5, 6, 7 so far, which is really, really wonderful.
Right. Oh. I'm just gonna take myself off video for a few minutes because I need to make myself a cup of coffee. I just walked in.
Okie doke. And somebody else. Is that Jenny?
Make me one too.
Is that
Who is
Jenny
that?
on?
Hey, is that Jen that wants a cup of coffee?
Yeah.
Oh, hi, Jen.
So, we do have a topic tonight, but I like the fact that we have so many people on, and everybody can chit chat a little as well. And it's kind of a very open-minded topic, so I'm sure everybody can get involved a little bit in the conversation, which is good. The topic for today is, what can you do to help brain injury awareness? Like, what are you doing? Like, each of us, you know?
What am I doing to what?
Build brain injury awareness. Jenny, I'm going to have to mute you, Jenny. Okay. There we go. Don't like to do that, but a lot of background issues. So,
I would say just be part of the society. That's all. That helps build brain injury awareness.
I didn't understand what you had just said, Henry.
One thing. I said, if you're sociable, just be sociable. That'll help build brain injury awareness.
True. It's very true.
Yeah.
Hi, Heather.
Noel.
Okay, up there. So we can watch.
Hi, Heather. How are you?
Hey, I'm here. I'm just making my bed. Liam and I. Get up there, Liam.
I see.
Don't mind me if I fall asleep. Doctors. But I
okay.
wanted to tune in. My friend Dallas is going to try to call in and tune in also.
Okay, good.
He's out in, I can barely hear you there. He's out in Kansas, but when we went to school together, and when he comes back to Maine this summer, he's going to be my support person to help get back. I need, so I don't know if he can get on this way, but if you see a guy by the name of Dallas, he's my friend.
Okay, no problem.
Because I can't see any of you though.
Let me see. I'll turn the video on so you could see me and everybody else. I think called
Yeah,
in,
now
aside from Henry.
don't look at my message better. No, now I can't.
Yeah, me and Henry are the only people that are on video, I think. But he's making coffee, so he's not close by.
Are we on?
Yeah, we are on. We have about, let me see, 10 people on right now.
No, I mean, are Liam and I on video?
Yes, I see you guys.
Well,
Well,
all I
it's-
have, I
now
only
it's very
see,
good.
I only see a little thing of you. I usually can see a big thing.
You could scroll on the screen, on the bottom
Yeah, I
of the
see
screen.
you now.
Yeah.
So, well, keep getting a phone that keeps popping up.
You have to
Yeah.
scroll over, and you could see multiple people at once.
Yeah, I
Because-
can.
Because then when you'll hear a noise, and then one person comes on at a time. When
Right.
It's like that.
What's the conversation so far?
Well, we were just talking about the topic we're having tonight is about what can you do to help brain injury awareness. And Henry brought up a valid one. He says, if you're sociable, you could just talk to people, make them aware, and help them learn.
Well, Henry, what happens when you're not sociable?
Then you go on to Facebook and make a lot of posts.
Nah, that's all right. I'm all good with that.
Okay. Go to the local library and put it up.
No, I make people aware. I just don't make people too aware of what.
So my first question is, how do you make people aware?
Oh, I make people aware. I make posts on my Facebook.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, you do. That's what I said before.
And I discuss with my friends who I pick up that they have traumatic brain injury.
Right.
Only because, I just don't make everybody aware that I have a squash brain. So.
Well, most people that know me know I have a brain injury
Most
because
people,
it was posted on my Facebook page when I was going through it.
Who's speaking?
This is Lydia.
Lydia.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
most people know that I have. Most people know that I have headaches.
Headaches?
Yeah, that's what for the last 29 years, it's Heather has headaches, and that's just been a fact of life.
Okay.
Well, my brain injury is still sort of new.
Okay.
Oh, how long
And,
ago?
It's not quite 7 years, but it was it was a near fatal injury. And
Who's this?
this is
Who's
Lydia
speaking?
still.
Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
So it hasn't been that long, and a lot of people where I live that know me, except where I'm going to church, my new church, they don't know, except that I do talk about it because it's part of my Christian testimony now that God gave me a second chance.
That's good.
No, I think it's great. Mine has just been a result of because of my family business, and I was always very high functioning and this and that. And it was 29 years ago that even though I went to neuro rehab and I've been a few times, that I always had family members, which I wrote Mike a huge thing about this the other day because I was going through a real bad depression the other week. That it was kind of it was hidden, and I always had support in my family. So if there was something I couldn't remember, a family member would step in and they'd make a comment. So a stranger or even someone that wasn't a stranger didn't know the difference. And now all the support people that I had in my family are now gone, and it's making it difficult. But still, because of my line of work and this and that, people just brush it off that Heather has headaches. So we just leave it at that. But I still make people aware that, acquired, traumatic, whatever type of brain injury there is, it's very serious, and, there needs to be more awareness. And people shouldn't feel that they have to hide. Mine was 29 years ago, and that was just the way things were back then.
That's
So
wonderful.
now it's different. Now it's different to try to let people know. So if my friend Dallas gets on, like I said, I've opened up to him. He's out in
Is he
Kansas.
from Texas?
What?
Is your friend Dallas from Texas?
No, my friend Dallas, who I went to school with, and we were both great athletes, and he's out in Kansas. And his
Right.
mother's had a stroke, so she's familiar with acquired brain injury, and he's going to be coming home, and he knows I get tired out. We've discussed my whole neuro rehab, and he said he would drive me back and forth so I could go again just for my tune-up, because I haven't been in 20 years.
What is neuro rehab?
You've probably been through it. If you've got acquired brain injury where you go and it's all day processing, whether it be counseling, whether it be moving blocks around on a table just to see your motor skills.
Yeah.
The processing skills, to see how
Yeah.
you're absorbing and utilizing the information that you're receiving it and sending it out and reacting to things.
Yeah, like occupational therapy and physical therapy and all that, and speech therapy. I had all that.
All inclusive. I go to Bayside, but Bayside is 60 miles. I get really tired. I mean, you almost, maybe you don't, but most people know that if you a traumatic brain injury, I mean, you get excessively tired anyways, or at least I do, and then I have the headache to top it all off. So I couldn't drive if I wanted to every day back and forth 60 miles each way to go to my neuro rehab.
Oh yeah.
And
but I don't understand. You're going through neuro rehab again?
Yeah. I went through once years ago, and then I was in a really high functioning position, And when that position ended, you know, I just knew that I was needed to get a refresher on the skills that I had learned, because I was starting to get overwhelmed, and you know, and that's been going on again, and I just know that it's time. And I've already spoken to them, and they said it's not uncommon over years for people to go for what they call tune-ups, and they've given, in the last 2 or 3 weeks, they've been in contact with me, and they've sent me a lot of local information until I can start to get back down there. I live in Maine, so
Wow.
it's not like really close by.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe not everyone needs to do it, but I mean, I have. This will be my 3rd time, and
I did it. I had done that too.
It's
I went back after 5 years.
right. Yeah, you need to go back to get, somebody said before, a tune-up.
right.
You need that.
Yeah,
I do physical therapy every year. Physical, occupational, I do it every year.
I don't know. I'm not offered anything. I don't go to a neurologist. I don't know about any of this other stuff that other people have had. You know, all these different treatments and options.
what
Maybe
is
it's
your
my
name?
insurance.
What is your
Maybe
name
it's my
again?
insurance, Lydia.
Lydia.
Yeah, maybe it's my insurance. I don't know. They don't cover any of that or whatever. But
Well, what kind of insurance do you have, Lydia?
I just have Medicare.
They should cover it, I think.
Yeah. Yeah.
Lydia.
Medicare.
Lydia, let me mention this to you, and because I never went until a friend of mine took me aside. Matter of fact, I was at a party. I can remember it as clear. That's one of the things I can remember. It was a beautiful day out, and he was in a motorcycle accident, and he got traumatic brain injury. And he took me aside and he said, "Stop hiding it, young lady. I know what's going on." And I went to his doctor, and I'm going to be going back because, and I went for a neuropsychological evaluation. And with the
I would like to have that too, but
Well,
unless my doctor orders it, I don't get anything, and I don't think he'll order any of it.
some doctors,
You have to ask them.
no, you need to tell them, because
Yes.
some primary care physicians, I hate to say this, and even just some doctors do not realize that there's a huge difference between a neurosurgeon, a neurologist, and neuropsychologist. And neuropsychology is the one that tells you what part of your brain you damaged.
Yeah.
So you know what type of treatment you need to seek.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's totally different. It's a whole totally different, yeah. It's different than a neurologist. I have a neurologist that treats my migraines. I have a neurologist that's familiar with traumatic brain injury, but he does not do what a neuropsychologist does.
Right. But I was going to a neurologist, and he, you know, after a couple of years, he, you know, didn't ever say I needed to come back unless I was having something else going on, you know. But I've been very impaired the whole time. But I also have a lot of physical disabilities as well. So.
Well, I have physical disabilities too, and I ended up with more physical disabilities as a result of my head injury. But I'm telling you, if you have been impaired, then you need to see a neuropsychologist. You'll go through a whole battery of tests that will exhaust you, but they can tell you what portions of your brain that you damage, and that way you can seek neurorehabilitation. And that neurorehabilitation, they make that specific to your needs. It's not just general of what everyone in the room needs. It's just what Lydia needs. But they can't do that without you having a neuropsych test.
No, I don't know why. I don't know why. You know, this far after all this that I've gone through, that nobody, they don't see. I never had a caregiver, and I never had any support. Like, I don't have anybody in my life, so I'm sure if you did that, people become more aware that there are more things and then pursue that. I wouldn't have known to pursue that.
Well, Lydia, I mean, that's something that we do as well with our nonprofit,
Mhm.
is that guidance and that support services that we do.
Excuse me, Mike. Are you listening, Diana? To support what he's saying.
Yeah, she's listening. I'm reading her messages too.
Okay.
But that's part of what we do.
Yeah.
Lydia, and a prime example of that is Jenny, who's on. We've helped her out with all that kind of stuff as well. But there's a lot of people that we have assisted to find
Somebody's
information of
breathing
where to
into
go.
their phone.
It's all right.
Not me.
For referrals, so we can,
Lydia, I
we
wouldn't
can-
have known if it hadn't been for a friend, to be honest. And I had been to a neurologist for probably 3 or 4 years. And if it hadn't been for a friend that brought it to my attention and me bringing it to the attention of my doctor that I wanted a referral, I don't know about now, but back years ago, I mean, neuropsychology just wasn't a term that people just floated around.
yeah, it's very new.
Yeah.
All of it's very new, and the resources available are widely available. Like nowadays, it's much more. It's well known. Like now, it's becoming much more aware. Like it's becoming much more public about brain injuries, about neurological issues. It's very new and it's still learning, but it's much better than it was even 10 years ago, 15 years ago.
Oh yeah, yeah.
So
my problem is my lack of having a memory, short-term memory, and I think maybe things will open up. I had a second brain injury a little over a year ago, and I still haven't gone back for follow-up.
Oh.
Just because I can't remember.
Yeah.
And I have too many. It's too much for me to just take care of myself and my house, and to keep up with all those things, And so I finally did get an MRI. So I'm in line, to get an appointment with a neurologist. He's also a neurosurgeon. And maybe that will open up some other things for me once I see him. He's a different neurologist than who I saw when I had my major brain injury with the coma and all that. But I wanted to still pursue that and not go, even though it's been a long time, because I'm hoping that maybe that I can get referrals through him, because I know my primary care doc, he's just really resistant to giving me referrals for anything. Unfortunately.
One of the things Diana's writing here in the chat, she's not audible, but she's writing here in the chat. She says, Lydia, maybe you can start a notebook and writing things down, and a calendar really helps me out when I use it. And that's what I've always done, is writing notes and using a calendar.
Well, I try to have a calendar for events to try to keep me where I'm supposed to go, but I'm so incapacitated with my thinking.
You get overwhelmed, right?
Well, it just doesn't get done. Things just don't get done.
See, Lydia, a lot of what you're saying right now is what a neuropsychologist will tell you, and that's what the neuro rehab works with you about, because I mean, I shouldn't speak for everybody else, but I too have memory issues, and before I went to neuro rehab, mine were worse. And then by going to, once I saw the neuropsychologist and then went to neuro rehab, they didn't tell me what to do. We worked through a whole series of calendars, day timers, whatever it may be, until we found what worked for me, because what works for me may not work for you.
Like scheduling and things. Yeah, you're right. Yep.
Right. Yeah.
Now, something that you may think about that I mean, my house is now cluttered all the time. And one thing that I have to do that may help you, and I wouldn't worry if people didn't like it when they came in your house, anything that you need to remember, I write notes still, 29 years later, I write notes, and I pin those on my wall, because I noticed.
I have started doing that. The chair that I usually sit in during the day and make my calls on and use my laptop I'm right next to a sliding glass door, and so I've started doing just that because a friend of mine pointed that out. Because people always think of putting a calendar, on the refrigerator or on the wall somewhere, and she's like, well, this is where you sit, and this is where you kind of do stuff. This is where you need to post it. And like you said, no matter how funny it looks, this is where it's going to go, because this is where I am.
Well, what I started to mention, though, about that, as far as pinning it up, even if you have it pinned all over the place, so
Yeah.
it will catch your attention, is oftentimes I've noticed if you're forgetting things and you have something.
I forget things all day long. I could go from one room to the next and not even know what I was doing, or something I had in my hand. I put it down and I'll spend the next 2 hours looking for it. I feel like I waste most of my time.
Well, you're in the right group, but what I was going to say is when you take something and you put it in a pile, like me, if I put something in a pile, even though a stack of letters, once it's in that stack of letters, I'm not going to find it, but if I pin it on a wall, then I have to walk by it all the time, and eventually I'll glance at it.
Yeah. Well, one of the problems is that I had a lot of things happen when I bought the place I live in, and I've never really gotten moved in. Everything's still laying around everywhere. And so that's hard, because I think if I could get to the point where everything was put away, that would help.
You're saying,
to just be able to put things away, and then I know where to go back to get it. But right now, everything's everywhere.
You're probably saying something that we all have experienced, or at least I have. I don't know about everybody else, but I mean, that's, like I said, my house is topsy-turvy now, and I haven't been able to square it away in 29 years.
Yeah. Yeah, my house is a mess. Everything's a mess, and it stayed this way. I was very overwhelmed. I had to take care of both of my ill parents, and all their affairs, and their house, and their bills, and their estate, and I finally got their house sold just a few months ago, but I was going down real fast. I was failing at everything, and I still have to take care of a lot of things for my mother, but she's in a nursing home. So I know, she's safe, she's clean, she's fed, but I still have to take care of all her affairs and buy her what she needs. And things are starting to get a little better, because I had so much going on. I wasn't even here, because I was busy taking care of them and their house, and I wasn't even here. I didn't really, I had no time to be here to put things away, or, because I was taking care of everyone else. And
well, it's real cool.
And that's hard,
What's real cool is when you get really disgusted looking at it, you can shove it all in a drawer and find it 5 years later.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, well, I emptied a box the other day. I finally, I feel like I have to pay for everybody that comes to help me, unfortunately, but at least I guess I have a little money to do it. But I had someone, a couple of guys come over to help me move some furniture into place because everything was sort of, well, like when you move, everything just gets thrown in the house, or some of it ended up in the garage, and I can't move any of it. And so I was able to empty a few boxes of books that have been in storage for 10 years because I lived in such a tiny little place before here. And so it was sort of, fun because it was like, oh, that's where that went. There were things that I hadn't seen in 10 years.
It was like Christmas.
Right, yeah, really. It was like, oh my goodness.
Everything you're saying, though, is what a neuropsychologist can tell you. I mean, for an example, I hit the back of my head, but my brain bounced and it did left front lobal damage, and that caused me to have like what you're experiencing. So I think it's very important if you could get in with one. I was going to say, if you're on the website, I just found some new information. I have to research it more, and I'm going to be going up to the Armory on the 25th of March. But now there's some new programs, at least in the state of Maine, so I'm almost assuming that it may be something nationwide, where if you have Medicare or some sort of Maine care, that you can get something that is over and above your regular Medicare as a result of having traumatic brain injury. And if you're on the site, if I knew your last name, if I look up Lydia, or even Mike may know what it is, because I just started researching it myself. I can't think of the name of it right now, and I don't have my. But
it's something through the state you're in.
It's through the state, like it works with your Medicare, or in the state of Maine, Maine Care, but it gives you services over and above what your that will pay for. I will look it up. As a matter of fact, I can look. I've got my phone here. I can look and see if I can pull it up. And your state may have something similar. It's it just gives you more services than what your Yeah, let me see if I can find that.
I have the name of a lady that works through the Brain Injury Association of Florida, and she might be a good resource for me to call. And if there is such a thing, she would probably know. She's the one that encouraged me to continue to pursue, to get a follow-up appointment with a neurologist from the fall that I took, because she said if I do that, I can speak to that doctor about, getting into other resource or rehab, programs through the neurologist, and
I'm looking here to see if I can find it now, because I'm on my phone while you're all talking. But no, the Brain Injury Association, aren't they, Liam, please stop jumping on the bed. Aren't they statewide, aren't they nationwide, Michael?
Yes.
So see, some of this information is through Maine, but I would assume that Florida would have the same information.
Florida does.
Yeah.
I lived in Florida. I know they have it there as well.
Yeah. Well, I'll give her a call then and see what she knows about it.
Well, tell her you need neuropsych. If nothing else, get that, because that's going to tell you anything. To get started with. I didn't make any progress until I got mine.
Yeah.
And I'm going to go back and have another one, and I've had several.
Yeah.
Michael, didn't you tell me you had several?
Yeah. I've gone, well, see, what I did is I started off with just, whether I was in New Jersey, New York, or Pennsylvania, even in Florida, actually, I started off by just going to a neurologist, and
Yeah.
I would for follow-ups.
Yeah.
But in Jersey, it was easy when I lived there because I just went back to where I was doing my outpatient therapy, and I said, "Can I follow up with somebody?" And they said, "Sure, of course." And Medicare usually covers anything that's psychological or neurological.
Yeah.
It shouldn't be any issue if you have Medicare.
Right,
Yeah.
there's another program though, Michael, if I find it here. Because
Yeah. All my. Go ahead.
no, go ahead, I'm looking. My grandson just turned on the light so you can see my messy bedroom.
Well, then it's a good thing I can't see, right?
I don't know. You might not feel as bad about yours.
Oh gosh. But yeah, I had the rehab that I went through. I was in a nursing home to get after I woke up from the coma. That's where they put me.
Was it a physical rehab?
I had physical therapy to walk and learn to manage my balance problems, and I had like occupational therapy, speech therapy, and
that was a brain trauma unit. That was specific. Going over those details is the same with.
Well, it wasn't a brain injury trauma. It was it was a nursing home.
Oh, it's a nursing home.
And they have a rehab portion, and then they have regular, like a nursing home section. So
okay.
Yeah,
okay.
that's where I went. And then when I got sent home, I had about like 4 more months of it, but it was done at my house because I couldn't drive and I didn't have anybody. So they came to me.
Right, but now you need to train your brain. You can train yours while I'm retraining mine. No, I'm serious. I talk to people all the time. It's easier to talk on the internet than it is to talk to local people.
Yeah.
I'm trying to find this. I wrote to them at Bayside if I could find it.
I try to put things on my Facebook page, and then also when I'm talking to friends that still own horses and ride, about wearing their helmet, because my major brain injury, the one that was almost fatal, I got being thrown from one of my horses and not wearing a helmet.
Yeah.
So I do talk about that. I'm a little vocal about that, and those that know me expect it.
Yep.
Because for the most part, nobody wears helmets. unless they're an English jumping class. People that go and trail ride all day long, nobody wears helmets. Yeah. And I tell my story, and
Sorry,
I'll tell you, the woman that was with me that I was riding with when I got injured, she never rode without a helmet after that. It traumatized her to see me because she didn't think I was going to live through it. And she's a nurse, and it really traumatized her for a long time. She was really afraid and very nervous to ride. I never got like that. It's almost like she went through a PTSD thing, with riding, and it never bothered me. It never bothered me after that. And so I got back. I had to sell that horse because she had just been trained, and I was, of course, busy with rehabbing, and so I sold her right away because it was detrimental for me to keep her and just have her sitting there, But I kept my other boy was my everyday riding buddy, and I was up riding him before I could walk because he was so trustworthy. And now I've read articles since then that of course people talk a lot about horse therapy and riding therapy for a lot of things, but they're talking about it for balance. And that was one of my problems is his balance. And so I always call. I had to put him down, unfortunately, a year ago, but I always called him my therapy horse for a long time because I think he really helped me get a lot back.
Absolutely, I totally agree with that too. Yeah.
Yeah.
Lydia, I have a question for you.
Yeah.
You have Goodwill. I'm sure in Florida you have Goodwills, right? Goodwill Industries.
Oh yeah.
Did anybody ever tell you that one of the major programs through Goodwill Industries is neuro rehabilitation?
No.
Yeah, that's one of their major programs. And I don't believe just here in Maine, but I mean that's nationwide. Yeah, it's, to my knowledge. As a matter of fact, the neuro rehab that I go to at Bayside, I never realized that they are run through. I mean, that's how I found out that that's one of the programs that Goodwill Industries supports. I mean, like one of their number one programs. So
yeah.
I mean,
That's interesting.
if you go into like a regular Goodwill store, most employees don't know that. But if you were to get the main number for Goodwill Industries in Florida, and you call them, they'd have a whole array of information. I bet that they could send you and tell you where to go and give you information on support services. I was just, as a matter of fact, I was just reading it here when you said about the tune-up. It says this was from Bayside, and it said from Goodwill. Hi Heather, it's not unusual for someone to benefit from neuro rehab or brain injury rehab services more than once throughout their lifetime. Actually, one of our doctors used to say these tune-ups are very helpful. Right. But like I said, if you need to find the main number in Florida or your area in Florida, and what they're called is Goodwill Neuro Rehab Services. Through Goodwill Industries, and if you're on, like I said, I can, send you some of this information that I have.
Sure.
No, I mean, are you on? Is she on the site, Michael? Yeah.
You could put the link on my profile, and then we could just look at my profile and find whatever you need.
I have tons of links. Since I wrote you when I was all depressed the other week, I was all depressed because I was racking my brain finding services again because I haven't looked for any in 20 years.
Oh yeah, things change constantly.
I'm still trying to find that other program though, and I believe that's also a statewide program that helps for paying. I'll see if I can find that.
Interesting.
Hi, Susan, you're back.
Yeah, I know. I hung up by accident.
Oops.
So I had to call back.
I forgive you.
Hi, Susan.
Hi, how are you?
Well, pretty good. Looking on my phone as we talk.
Okay.
To find piece of information that I can't find.
What's the information that you're looking for?
It's a program now that works with state programs like Medicare and such that can't think of the term that I want to use, but it goes over and above what your Medicare, main care, or whatever state whatever your state agency's called, and it's specific for traumatic brain injury, and I have it here. I just don't want to get on my laptop, so I'm trying to look on my phone right now because I have.
Would it be a subsidiary or like a TBI waiver?
Yeah, it's a waiver, exactly. Thank you. That's the exact word that I'm looking for. Thank you.
You're welcome.
That's what I thought.
That's the one that I was looking for. Thank you.
What was that?
TBI waiver.
Oh, you got it.
That's exactly. I could not think of that word to save my life.
Oh.
Is somebody shaving their head right now? Because I hear a buzzing noise.
Yeah, thank you, Mike. I thought it was me.
There it goes again.
There it goes.
Not me. I'm not even touching my laptop.
I could tell who it's coming from. Hold on. I think it was Lydia.
I am quiet.
What?
I heard a buzzing noise behind you or something like that. I hear.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Well, I did before.
Oh.
Yep.
And that could be from my laptop.
There it is again.
It sounds like a fan or something in the
It
background.
sounds something electronic. You sure it's coming from her? My grandson's got his.
It highlights.
Yeah, I don't have anything. I don't have anything on over here.
Okay. It could be. You might need to just turn your speakers down a little. That might do it.
It's my brain.
It's the brain motor going. It's running.
Watch out when it starts smoking.
The tires are spinning. Yep.
Do any of you have? I mean, like we have a brain injury resource fair. I posted that, Michael, for Maine. We have ours coming up. Everyone else, I mean, you all must have one coming up in your area this month, don't you?
Most
A what?
states do, yeah.
We have a
It's like a brain injury convention, I guess you could say.
Not that I know of.
We have a brain injury resource fair, and to my knowledge, I thought most states did this during the month.
I've never heard of it.
I would check it with the Brain Injury Association of Florida or
Okay.
yeah, and they would have the resources there to be able to find out and let you know.
Okay.
I get my information from the Brain Injury Association. They're the ones that gave me the dates for Maine.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Lydia, there's something every time you talk, it's in the background. It's so funny.
I am sorry. I don't know what to do. Here, let me unplug my phone. Maybe it's got something to do with that.
It's really funny. It sounds. It doesn't interfere with your voice when you're talking though. But as soon as you stop,
Okay, I'm gonna move away from the computer if that's it.
Okay. How are you, Yair? Thank you for joining us.
I can't see the people that's on chat, Michael. Oh, there we go.
Yeah, there's not a lot of people chatting, but there's I think 3 or 4 of us that are on video. I could turn mine back on.
I'll go on. I'll do the video thing the next time. Now that I figured out how to do it, where the button is.
Absolutely.
I've got all big red eyes today. I was very upset and crying. I thought I was going to have to put my doggie down, but I didn't. She's my girl, and she's very old.
I have very tired eyes.
Yeah, mine are all red from crying earlier. But the vet is giving her a different medication for her arthritic pain. So
Mhm.
That's all right. I'm here in my pajamas, so.
So am I. Honestly, I'm in a t-shirt and some sweatpants, so yeah, I'm right there with you.
I just put mine on.
do you want me? Do you want me to give you my my email address for you to send those resources to?
Michael says if I post it up to the site, he'll make sure that you get those.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, well, great.
And you'll see my
Thank
name.
you.
I'm Heather. You'll see me up there.
Thank you. Thank you, Heather. I really appreciate you doing that and passing that on.
Just hearing you, like I said, to revert back, and even though it's repetitive, neuropsychologist. I mean, even my original neurologist never recommended a neuropsychologist. And if it hadn't been for a friend, I wouldn't have known what it was.
Yeah.
Being repetitive is something that we all appreciate in the brain injury community.
Well, wait a minute. What about thinking me? Because I'm the one that said TBI waiver.
Yes, but you were,
Good
yeah,
job.
Yeah.
how many times did
He
I
gets a gold star.
how many times did I have to keep saying I'm trying to think of something before you thought of waiver? Thank God I
It's
repeat.
teamwork. That's why we do these calls. It's teamwork. We're all helping each other out here.
I know. We've all got a little piece of brain, and we're all trying to put it together here.
Yeah, we're
Yep.
all trying to make one
That's
brain
what
whole.
it is.
Yep, we're all working to
That's
make one
right.
whole brain.
Absolutely.
Thank God I repeated myself, or else you would have never thought of waiver.
Right.
Yep. I love it. That's funny.
I get a kick
There are
out of
9 people on the call, so that means 9 brains are better than 1.
my
must
daughter
be.
always says, Ma, you repeat yourself, and I hate to tell her, but she has no idea how much she repeats herself.
Oh, there you go.
If I tell her that, she gets all offended.
That's one thing I never did. I never minded repeating myself.
Yeah.
Never mind that. Hey, Yar, how are you, man?
So when my daughter, when I first had the brain injury, you know, and going through all the, you know, nursing home and the hospital, and my daughter told me every time she'd come several times a week to see me, and she said every time she came, I would tell her the same thing and ask the same questions for weeks on end.
Well, it's because you want to remember.
Oh yeah, I had just gotten up awake from a coma. I didn't know what was happening.
Right.
Well, my mother used to repeat herself. She just passed away in 2015, and she didn't have Alzheimer's. She was 91 years old. She was a very
Wow.
sound mind, and she
Good
was
for
my
her.
sport person, but she repeated herself, and we would have the same conversations over and over and over, and I'm so glad that she did, because of a lot of what she was trying to drill into my head. It wasn't a matter of me having a brain injury. It was things that I needed to know, so when she passed away, that I would be able to do what I do now. So what I try to do to my children, and they think that it's my brain injury, but a lot of times it's just business things that I do, and I just want to make sure that they know, they understand, and they move forward with it. So if something happened to me tomorrow or tonight,
Right.
you know. So I think there's a lot of people that repeat themselves, but when they can label us, then they can say, oh, you repeat yourself because you got a brain injury. They repeat themselves just because they're normal. So we're in Florida.
Well, I often repeat myself asking the same questions. because I don't remember.
What's that?
I often repeat myself asking the same questions
There you go.
because I don't remember if someone had. I don't remember the answer or if that asked it before. It's just sometimes I don't want to just go around and like tell everybody, hey, I have a brain injury. How are you?
You don't have to.
But
You don't have to.
I know I don't have to, but I feel like I end up doing that a lot because.
To justify.
Well, yes, to justify or excuse myself from forgetting things all the time.
Yeah, sometimes it is easier just being upfront about it. I mean, I'm not going to lie to you either. Sometimes it's easier to just be like, all right, here it is. Deal with it or see ya.
Yeah.
I don't care. To be honest, I mean, that's putting it in a nicer way of words than I would normally probably say.
Yeah.
But,
Well, the thing is, you lose. I've lost friends, and I've lost relationships because of the lack of memory,
Have we all? Haven't we all?
yeah.
Yes, I'm sure.
We all have.
Because you don't. Yeah, you forget to send. I forget to send cards at holidays, or I get invited somewhere and I totally forget.
What are cards and holidays, Lydia? Those went out the window years ago.
That's true.
I tell all my friends and family I'm saving on paper. If they want anything, they can look at my Facebook.
Thank goodness for Facebook, so it reminds me that people have
What the
birthdays.
date is.
Yeah,
Right.
that's okay. That's okay.
If they want me to remember their birthday, they better put their birthday on Facebook. Otherwise, I ain't getting a notification to tell them hi.
That's
Yeah.
okay. I saw my son a couple of weeks ago, and he doesn't have traumatic brain injury. And I got a big hug from him, and I said, "Well, I'll take that for my birthday present." He says, "Your birthday? When was your birthday, Ma?" I said, "January 21st." He goes, "Oh well." There you go.
Yeah.
Like my shirt, the shirts we have, it says, I had a brain injury. What's your excuse? Bingo.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's what I said.
I need one of those.
Yeah, we have the shirts are on my Facebook page, but I can order one for anybody. I have it. It's the biggest selling shirt that we have.
Oh, that sounds like a great one.
Yeah, it's $20. It's great. It's funny.
That's what I said to my counselor the other day. We were discussing something, and it was an in-depth conversation. Had nothing to do with brain injuries, even though I like him because he's familiar where a lot of actually counselors really, not all counselors train in traumatic brain injury. And at the end of our session, he turns around and he said something, goes, you just repeated yourself. And I said, "Oh, that's right, Max. Didn't I tell you I have traumatic brain injury? I have an excuse." He says, "Don't even go there with me." Because I mean, it was just that I was just trying to drive my point home to him, but so I thought I'd use it as an excuse. It didn't work.
I mean, in general, I definitely noticed that when we started talking about repeating stuff, that's when people actually started repeating themselves. Like they'd start with a sentence, 4 or 5 words, and then they'd repeat those 4 or 5 words. And I don't know, like it literally was not happening at the beginning of this phone call. Like it was literally when we started mentioning that we were repeating ourselves. See, I just did it. Because I'm talking about it.
I think it all happens as you get later. The battery inside you wears down.
But when we went off the topic slightly about 5 minutes ago, the repeating slowed down. Like we stopped repeating ourselves.
Right, but I wanted to, if it's because it's later. Is it later in the evening and our brains are getting more tired?
Well, that's what I said. Our batteries are running down.
That's right.
No, it's literally just that we're more aware of it because we're talking about it.
Right, that too. That too.
Hey, that's okay. Not only do I repeat myself, I talk to myself. So
Just don't ask yourself, and you'll be all right.
that's right. Well,
Mhm.
if I answer myself, it's,
They knew trouble.
Any smart person on this planet is going to repeat themselves. It's just
Yes.
to remind themselves of things, because there's so much going on in our lives that our brains are just like, there's too much information to process at every second. So I might just say that there's a lot of information going on.
I'm glad that you just said that, because I was going to mention that to Lydia. One thing that I have tried to pay attention to is whether I'm actually having a memory problem, or if I'm having difficulty because I'm trying to process too much information all at the same time.
Uh-huh.
You know,
Yes,
so,
that could be too.
yeah, so sometimes it's not always my short-term or my long-term memory. It's just
Mhm.
whatever my surroundings may be, and I'm trying to process too much.
Yeah, definitely, definitely.
It could also just be like if you didn't eat enough over the course of the day, or you haven't had enough sugar in your brain, for your brain, because the brain runs off sugar. Could also be that. I know that sometimes I'm like super into everything, and I can bring up every single memory like at the snap of a finger. And then other times it's like I have no idea what happened yesterday.
Right, that's all of us. I think that's all of us.
And I haven't really been diagnosed with the same stuff that you guys have. I've been diagnosed with like bipolar and PTSD, so it's a little bit different. But what I'm trying to say is that like everyone has memory issues, and people do repeat themselves. So sometimes it's not because of the actual disorder. I mean, sometimes it is because of the disorders, the stuff that we've been diagnosed with. But sometimes it's just something that happens as being a human being.
Well, if you're bipolar, I would think that, I mean, over-processing sometimes too, that would be the same. I mean, it would, you know, if you're over-processing, if you were taking in too much information all at once, then it could very easily make you forgetful. And people that are bipolar, so when they're, at times, I know because my son's bipolar, wants to absorb and take in all the information he can, so much, so fast, all at once, until the point that he's exhausted. And then when he is exhausted, or he used to, when he was younger, then he would just collapse. And there was no more talking to him. I mean, he'd just be down for the count, you know, because he would just process so much. So I could see how that would be perceived as a memory issue.
I don't know. Normally when I have a memory issue, if I just eat something really quickly, like not so much carbs, but like if I eat like vegetables or meat, then I wake back up and I'm able to talk and be a productive person about 10 to 15 minutes later. I don't know how that works, but it does.
I'm thinking a lot about what you said, Heather, about that, because I am like I love information, and even when I'm doing something else, I'll have teaching tapes on and sermons and I'll be listening to some broadcast, of a seminar. And I do a lot of that all day, and maybe that's too much.
I have a question for you then. Have you noticed post-traumatic brain injury that you feel or like you want to learn more, or you're trying to learn more? I know that after I hit my head, that's when I decided to go back to university, and that's when I started to study everything and do everything. And I mean, if I didn't know a word, I look it up. I mean, and it was like I started taking all the information that I possibly could. And I think it was almost out of a fear of forgetting things. So it seems like I want to learn more now than I did, you know, pre hitting my head. So maybe you're doing the same thing. Maybe you're just trying to take in everything for fear of losing anything.
That could be. Could be.
Could be. Yeah. I'm not even sure how much I retain at this point.
Maybe
Yeah, me too. Me too.
Yeah.
Sometimes
But I just love.
sometimes I don't.
Yeah. I just love learning, and I have a lot of interests, and so I don't have a TV. I haven't had a TV in, I don't know, 11 or 12 years, and I just enjoy, you know, learning in other ways, and I like to read a lot too. But you know, it really sparked something, Heather, when you said about just being overwhelmed by information, because I know I should, and I don't always remember to do it. I should lay down for about an hour and just have some quiet in the afternoon. I should do it for my body too, because of my physical, my chronic pain and stuff. But maybe I am really overloading myself.
Well, maybe you're
mentally.
Maybe you're overloading yourself, and maybe you're remembering. If you think about that, you know, even though you say that you're forgetting things, you realize that you notice that maybe an hour or two, or a day or two, or a week or two later, all of a sudden something that you were trying to remember all of a sudden pops into your head.
Oh, yeah, that happens all the time.
Another question. Could it be that you're overloading to not think about the pain?
Well, I enjoy learning, and I've had so many things taken from me out of my life because of the physical disabilities.
Right.
You know, this is just sort of a source of enjoyment. I mean,
right.
And I don't watch TV.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so
right.
I guess maybe I should be a little bit more mindful of how much of that, you know, that I listen to. That
I wouldn't stop doing it. It's probably you know, your brain is a muscle. It's like anything. I mean, the more you keep stimulated.
Sure.
So personally, that's just my thought. The more you keep it stimulated, the less you're going to forget. Something I wasn't when you mentioned pain, and that's the third part of besides trying to process. I've spoken to other people that have memory issues, and then I've spoken to people like and then I've spoken to people that overprocess, and I've spoken to people like myself. Like, I've had a continual headache since I fell. I mean, I have a daily headache, a massive migraine.
I do too, and I'm not sure if it's all brain or it could be because I have cervical discs that have ruptured. You know, I have a lot of different things going, fibromyalgia, so sometimes it's hard to know where the source of pain is. But yes, I have daily headaches too, and I have ever since my injury.
That's what I was going to mention to you. It's like they removed 2 of my discs because I almost paralyzed myself. So they removed 2 of my discs, they replaced it with a part of my hip. And as a result, I've had daily headaches, but I was having daily headaches anyways.
Yeah.
And then sometimes they turn into massive migraines, and then sometimes they have cluster migraines. And what I have been told by doctors that it's not always my memory, it's the fact that I'm in so much pain. I mean, when you're in pain, you know, your brain can only compensate for so much. So if you're hurting, you're in pain, you're suffering, I mean, how much do you expect your brain to really remember?
Yeah, that's true.
You know, I mean, if you
I'm in pain all the time.
Right, if you've got a headache,
I don't remember anything except for pain.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
There you go.
I mean, that goes for anything. You know, like I stubbed my toe, or not necessarily like nerve ending stuff, because I've been diagnosed with neuropathy. But even like little things like tripping and banging my hand against like a wall or something, or something stupid like that, like natural stuff. I'll just remember that pain for the next like 10 minutes. Anything anyone says to me, it's going over my head. I'm like,
Right.
my hand hurts.
Yeah.
It's terrible.
Yeah, you're totally distracted. Yeah.
And once you've been in chronic pain for especially an extended period of time, like you said, even doing something as simple as stubbing your toe, the pain should be gone within, let's say, 5 minutes. It feels like it lasts forever.
Oh, I mean, it gets even worse. Like when I'm having neuropathy issues, it's like, sorry, I'm trying to figure out how to say it. When I'm having neuropathy issues, I'll be like laying there and like, it's like everything just hurts nonstop.
Yeah.
And it's like, it's okay for the first like 10 to 15 minutes. And I know that like, it's not getting worse, that it's just the same the whole entire time through. But after like 30 minutes to an hour, it just feels
it wears you out.
Like it hurts. It hurts more. And I think it might be because my brain is tired or
It's
just like the
burnout.
residual energy that's just like constant,
Yeah, it wears you out.
More than it initially was, but it still feels like it hurts more to me.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know.
Because your body, it's stress on your body. Chronic pain is stress on your body.
Yeah.
Well, it's mental and physical, because of the struggle and the tension and everything else. It just takes its toll on you too.
Yeah. Definitely.
So back to on topic was
Now we weren't on topic, Mike.
I didn't hear. I just heard a lot of clatter.
We weren't on topic.
The topic is about how we can build brain injury awareness. We started off on it, but then we started talking about individual struggles that we have instead.
Oh, geez, I forgot what the topic was. Sorry.
No, it's fine. I don't mind.
Yeah, but Michael, if you think about it, Heather was helping Lydia, making her aware of certain things.
No, I know.
There you go.
I know.
So that's brain injury awareness.
No, that's individual awareness.
Well, you know what I mean.
Good try, honey.
Those are on topic.
I didn't mind. I didn't.
We just made each other aware of other people's issues.
Deficits.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't mind. I've been letting the conversation go for an hour. I don't mind at all. So I didn't say much of anything. It was very cool. I love it. This is wonderful. Especially when we have a lot of people on the call today, and I have no issues with that. Are you there? I see you hiding in it looks like you're hiding in a closet with a light on.
Oh, I am.
I'm not in the closet.
No, it's very dark.
It's okay. He's muted right now. He didn't even turn his mic on.
I can hear it.
Yeah, no, I'm here.
Your picture is very dark.
Yeah, no, the lights are just low. I don't like to do too much bright light, you know.
Oh, okay.
That's fine. That's understandable.
Okay. But
I've actually have first neuropsych tests since after my injury in order to see if I can qualify for any of these benefits from vocational rehab to help me get back into school.
Very cool. Awesome.
So followed through with all those things we talked about last time, and I'm looking at going into PTA school now. Like, there's a lot of cool things happened. I can tell you a story real quick.
Yeah.
I was talking to a buddy of mine on the phone, and we were speaking. He's also a PTA, and
What is PTA?
a physical therapy assistant.
Okay.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I was wondering too.
Parent Teacher Association.
I just want to make sure I was.
But the one I'm going for is a physical therapy assistant.
Right.
Cool.
I've known him for probably about 5 years for massage. I'm also a massage therapist and trainer. That's what I do for. And he's been telling me, I should do this, and I've said, I would like to do it, but I don't want to go to school and all this stuff. And, I don't have the money. I don't have all these different making excuses, But then I found out about vocational rehab and how they could help me with paying for it, and they could help me with other aspects of it. So I pick it up. Now I'm finally like going through with it. So tomorrow is the first. Not the first step, but it's like part of the process that I'm following through with. I'm doing this neuropsych evaluation, see where I stand, and see what they say I'm eligible for as far as if they want to help me or not.
See, Lydia, he's talking about neuropsych too, and voc rehab. I think is really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. This is my first time being involved with it, so I'm just kind of, I'm gonna go do my best,
So, Mike, what is your suggestion as far as making it more aware? Because honestly, when I look at 29 years, there's a lot more now out there brain injury, because we now have social media and this and that. But even like when I was doing my research the other week, and I was sending out emails to Bayside and this and that. As far as the average person walking down the street, still there's not that much awareness. We have awareness on social media, but it's still a hidden injury. Like the old saying goes, if I was in a wheelchair going down the street and I had no arms and no legs, people would notice that, but they don't notice. No, I'm not saying that sarcastically. I'm just saying.
No, I do understand.
But I'm saying I haven't seen, except for the social media outlet, that there's that much more awareness. And even when I was trying to research things to assist me again, the closest place still for me to go is 60 miles from where I live. And we're talking 29 years, Mike. So how do you promote this other than through social media, what we're already doing? What are you thinking of when you say that's our topic?
Well, a big one is helping each other out, like with resources. Like what we're doing right now is great. That's the reason why we have these calls, is to help one another and share resources that we find and get other people aware and educate the people. Talking to people is the number one thing. And what's even more important than being there for brain injury survivors is talking to the public, because we got to open their eyes. Because it could happen to any one of them at any given time. And
it can.
And we all know that firsthand. We're experiencing that. So.
Yeah.
Right. But what I found though, like talking to people that I know, people that I've known since this happened to me, like I said, when I wrote to you, they just considered it had this headaches. If I say, oh, this happened, that happened, people still brush it off like, oh, no, it's not that bad. That didn't happen, blah, blah, blah. Or or if you're tired because you have brain injury, and some people that have brain injury you have excessive tiredness, you're lazy.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, there's still a,
Yeah.
there's still so much of negativity that surrounds things that go on with all of us, that until it happens to someone that we're talking to, then I mean, it's
Yes.
just, no, you're lazy, you're tired, oh, you can't be in that much pain, you know, and this and that. So you just shut up.
Yeah. You don't look disabled. That's my favorite.
Yeah.
Right. But I mean, you know, if I say to someone, oh, I'm tired, oh, you're always tired. Yeah, I am always tired. And they don't want to hear it. They don't want to hear that it's from a brain injury because they don't believe it exists, especially if you're high function.
Yeah.
Right.
Trish, that's what you tell them when they say you don't look disabled, and you say you don't look ignorant either.
Well, that's what amazing.
That's it.
That's what someone else said
That's
what someone else said online today. I love that.
is what you
I
need.
offer a pearl of wisdom here. Why don't you simply say, gee, I don't know what you're feeling inside either.
Yeah.
Michael, I think
a simple, straightforward thought like that may, you know, open someone's eyes.
I've had people, even my companion, just not even get it when I say I'm tired. We've gone to camp or something. I said I'm tired. I've got a headache. You're always tired. You always have a headache. Yeah, no kidding. But Mike, I think that you need to make that shirt. You know, you don't look ignorant either. That I think that shirt would sell.
Yeah, I'm quick on the ball when it comes to sarcasm. So me and Henry both are really good with this. Susan too.
Well, you don't always
I'm learning.
you don't always have to be sarcastic, because sarcasm involves anger. Just be
Sometimes,
straightforward and, you know, give them
honesty does. Yeah, it's the funny thing is.
Say, I don't know what you're feeling inside either. So
yeah, that's true. I was just about to say that. It's the honesty, the brutal honesty is really up front, and it's not being mean or nasty or nothing. It's not negative.
Yep.
It just really, you don't look ignorant. You know?
Yeah, well, that was great. But no, I mean, honestly, I can't. Like I said, when I wrote to you, I was doing a lot of research. And I mean, I really had to jump through hoops to find what was available. And, you know, and finding that, I can't really see that on the outside that there's that much of a difference as far as resources or public awareness. I mean, there is the month of March, right? Everyone's putting it all over Facebook. And then March comes and goes, and hey, guess what? You're all, you know, you're on your own. I'm just saying, I really haven't seen that much more out there. The biggest difference that I've noticed when it comes to traumatic brain injury and awareness is now the fact that in the veteran population, they have started to acknowledge from concussion and stuff that veterans have traumatic brain injury, and that's been the most public awareness I've seen.
Yeah.
As far as knowledge to the public.
Yeah.
you know what that happened with all the couple years ago with all the IEDs and everything and all the injuries. It became a signature thing, and that's why the government took notice, because there was so many injuries because of the war.
Yeah.
Right, but that, and I mean, I'm definitely pro-military, but I mean, if you're a veteran and you say, I have traumatic brain injury, people automatically just go to exactly what you said. But if you're just the average person walking down the street, you know, and they see you, then they just don't put two and two together because you weren't in it, or at least they don't know that you were in a situation that you could have, you know, traumatized your brain.
Right.
Right.
I work with Mission 22, which does support services for military veterans and suicide and brain injuries. And I'm an ambassador for them, and we deal with that on a regular basis. And just about all of them understand, especially post-traumatic stress disorder, which
Right.
just about any of us that work, you know, are in a brain injury community understand it firsthand.
Yeah.
Right, but how many people on the outside?
Oh, no, I know. And that's, again, that's part of the building of awareness, because veterans are, well, anyway, if you look back the last 50 years since Vietnam,
Yeah.
it's the hidden disability, because you look like you're fine, but what's going
Right.
on in your head is a completely different story.
Well,
Right.
that's I guess what I'm trying to say, Michael. Like if you were standing next to a veteran, right, and they were discussing the fact that they had, you know, post-traumatic stress and traumatic brain injury, because of the awareness, which I'm very glad, you know, that that's come about, you know, people, society would recognize that quicker than they would you if you were standing next to this person and you said, oh yeah, well, I have traumatic brain injury also.
Yeah.
You know,
Right.
just because there has been more awareness. I mean, and it's a good thing. I'm not saying that in a negative way,
Yeah.
but
Sure.
Yeah, I agree.
Do you, excuse me, but I used to walk a rollator. Do you know how many times people say to me, were you in the service?
no kidding.
Yeah, yeah. They have no clue that it
Yeah.
doesn't take a regular person to get a brain injury. You don't have
Yeah.
to be in service.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
that just goes to show you how the injuries in the armed forces has become very noticeable.
Right.
You are absolutely right. Hey, I hate to admit it, but probably 10, 12 years ago, I had
Right.
my oldest granddaughter down to Disney, and I had my mother's little scooter, and I was like late 30s, early 40s. But
Right.
just so I wouldn't get overtired walking around Disney, even though I was young and healthy looking, to be able to spend the entire day and do everything she wanted to do, I had to take her
Right.
scooter just, and I was still exhausted at the end of the day.
Yeah.
And it was because of my brain and trying to take everything in and watch a child and do,
Oh,
you know,
talk about overstimulation
right.
in that atmosphere.
It's funny because I just saw this post on Instagram and it said, oh, I'm already tired for tomorrow.
Mhm.
We're talking about burnout. And I'm like, oh yeah, that's me right now completely. I'm starting today and I'm just working and going and your brain going. And you're again, with the neuro fatigue that you deal with just from
Yes.
thinking all the time, and it just burns you out. I even
Yeah.
explain that to my wife is what's an 8-hour day or a 10-hour day for you is something that we do in 4 hours, and it's the ratio is completely different because our
Yes.
brains
Yeah.
are working so harder to compensate for the difference, and
Yeah.
somebody who's very high functioning or doing well for themselves, I still get it. It's not like I'm incapable of getting tired or it's still
Yeah.
there. It's still equally there.
Right.
Right. And people, but people don't realize that.
Right.
Right.
And
Well,
you
that's
know,
why I love to like ask questions. I go, "What do you know about neural fatigue?" Like I was just saying, and they're like, "What's that?" And I'm like,
Yeah.
"Find, yeah." I want to tell them, find out. Just,
no,
you might want to look that up.
I wouldn't wish anybody having to find out what neuro fatigue is. Sometimes neuro fatigue is just having to get out of bed in the morning.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
You know, I mean, I look at what you do, Michael, and it's just like I think if I had to commit to every Tuesday, twice a day to do this, I couldn't guarantee that I would do it. I would have be able to do it. I would have to have a backup person.
Well,
Yeah.
Henry and Susan have been doing this with me for so long. They know when I've had days where I'm going, I just can't do it today. I just can't.
Yes.
Yeah.
They know. It does happen. Oh yeah.
Don't let him
And you
fool
don't know when.
He eats a lot of cocoa leaves.
Yeah, I would have to have some days though that someone else would just have to start it for me, whether it be from neuro fatigue or from a migraine or
Right.
There's
whatever.
yeah. No, there's days I'm just yeah. If nobody gets on the call, I'm like, oh good. I mean, I love you
You're
guys.
off the
I
hook.
love the group we have together, but sometimes I just don't have it in me to talk. You know, when
Yeah.
you got on earlier and you were going that first hour just talking, I was like, oh good, good. This is good. Yeah, I don't. It's hard. It's hard, especially when there's a lot of new people and they don't know what to expect or what to talk about and things. And then you got to push. You know, you got to kind of get it going. So,
And I told Mike not to acknowledge that I was on here after I wrote him all depressed the other day. The first thing he said was, "Hi, Heather."
I like to bring people out of their shell. That is a big one. I don't.
You do a great job, Michael.
Oh, thank you. I'm an
And I so appreciate.
The pusher.
I appreciate what you do. I do. I really appreciate this. Yes.
Well, actually,
we do it together.
Actually, your topic for tonight, as far as awareness, actually reverts back to what like I said, again, to be repetitive, what I wrote to you the other week. I was really depressed because I knew that I needed my tune-up. I knew that I needed support and this and that, and trying to find that isn't any easier now than it was 29 years ago. And so when I wrote that to you, I was in the middle of writing places and contacting people and, you know, talking to my doctor and talking to my counselor and contacting Bayside and contacting the Brain Injury Association and every other thing. And it was like I still was hitting, you know, a brick wall. So when I wrote that to you, I was very depressed, and it was just based on what your topic. How do we bring more awareness so people don't feel that way?
Yeah.
I mean, unless we got a magic wand, it's tough. I mean,
well, what we were talking about before with resources is that's a way that we could do that, is making brain injury awareness is also helping each other find resources of where to go and who to talk to by our own experiences. And that's another one with teamwork, is like when we have this calls and we had somebody on that says, I don't know where to go or who to talk to, we can guide them in the right direction. And that's building awareness. And that's also, if we have family members that don't understand or don't know what's going on, having them join in on these calls and we inform them, that's building awareness. You know, that kind of thing. So there's all different kinds of ways. The post that I put on Facebook about these calls and stuff, you could copy and paste them and share them with people that don't know or don't understand what's going on. Go in here, you want to learn? Let's go. Or here's somebody, here's some people that understands. Or maybe this could fill in the blanks of what you don't know or, what you can't see.
Yeah.
So there is a lot of ways. Our website has a lot of different types of neurological impairments that has resources on there aside from the conference calls. I put it on the main page of our website now, not on the calendar page. So you could always look at the bottom of the page and boom, there's the call, there's the links, there's the phone number. So if people don't have internet access, they could still call in, because we got to make the public more aware of the things that are going on. And of course, his resources.
Yeah.
It's just, I mean, I think it's still gonna take more time for states, communities, and this and that to step up to the plate to realize that this is something real. I remember the first time, like, I don't get my disability now. I chose to opt out of it for a while, even though I probably should again, just so my brain might slow down a little bit. But it took me initially 10 years before I even was able to get my Social Security. And the reason that is I was young. I was 29 years old. I used to model. I used to drive tractor trailer. I was sharp. And I'd go into a hearing and the judge looked at me and didn't think anything was wrong with me. And then she said, well, you volunteer. And she said, if you can volunteer, you can work. I said, I can volunteer. And if I don't show up, I'm not going to get fired. And it took me 10 years of appealing until it just so happened to be that I got that judge off the case. And a new judge came on. And ironically, she was disabled too, but there again, not by sight, but she had pain issues and this and that. So she used to volunteer periodically to hear cases at Social Security. And she totally understood the fact that, about volunteering and trying to keep, so you remain sharp, so you still feel productive. But another judge looked at me for 10 years and told me there was nothing wrong with me. And I told him, I said, well, I said, I'm 58 now, but I was 29 then. I said, well, I can't help it that genetically I had good looking parents. So you're going to hold that against me? And that's exactly what they were doing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Those are stereotype. Yeah.
So,
I had a question for all of you. This call has gone unbelievable tonight. And before we end this call, I want to see if you guys would mind if I share this, if I save this and share this so more people, I'll post this whole entire conversation that we've had tonight on Facebook.
I don't mind.
Tonight I don't mind, but I'm glad you asked because my friend Dallas that I was discussing this with. It's funny that you brought that up. We just had this conversation. I said, I don't know if Mike forged these and then post them, and I said I bet he probably doesn't because of HIPAA and so on and so forth.
If I have consent from everybody, then it's okay.
Right. Tonight I don't mind.
Okay, good.
But other times if you're going to, I'd appreciate it if you'd ask.
I always ask. I have to ask, yeah. So that's really cool. It's very, very good conversation today.
Yeah.
So what's the next? So it's the
I
next.
don't mind, my guy. You can both on mine.
Okay, cool.
Yep.
I know the blunt of the conversation was like the five of us is me, Heather, Henry, Lydia, and Brittany was on for a little bit, but Susan. So I think it's cool. Very nice.
I'm still here.
What's that, Britt?
I'm still here.
I know. I'm checking up on you. I'm listening.
Well, anyways, I'm going to be going on the 25th. That's the first awareness, anything that I've been to in Maine where they've actually had like a conference that I've known of. So
Cool.
I think that's cool. I'm going to go for the first time.
That's cool.
Wow, cool.
Lydia, one thing I was going to mention to you, even though it's off of topic again, do you set alarms for yourself?
I have started doing that a little bit. I need to do it a lot more.
Yes.
I didn't have, we didn't have social media, like I said, or cell phones and the devices that we used to have years ago, because they tell me to write myself a note.
Yeah.
And then I'd lose the note, and then I'd cry because I couldn't find the note to remind me what the hell I was for.
Yeah, that's me. Yeah, I don't need a note. I need a 2x4 over the head to get.
Well, then we have a little device that I used to put in my purse, and that would send me. I'd start sending myself alarms ahead of time. Even now with my smartphone for my doctor's appointments. One thing that I have gotten to do, whether people like it or not, if you're in a doctor or something, or if you're setting up an appointment, I have gotten to the point now that I don't allow myself to feel like I have to be rushed because there's someone else in line. When I'm sitting there scheduling an appointment, I wait until I get all the information into my phone before I even leave.
I don't know how to do a lot of that yet. I'd like to learn how to sync my calendar that's on my computer with something on the phone.
Google.
And I don't know how to do that yet.
Well,
I could try and help you out with that.
But even without that.
But I do try to use the alarm that's in the phone to remind me of things. Well, like because that's I forget so much. If I'm involved in something, it's like I'm so absorbed into something, I don't remember time.
The rest goes puff right out the window. That was gone a long time ago.
Yeah. So I mean, sometimes I feel like I can't even start working on something if I've got even an appointment coming up 4 hours from now, because I'm afraid I'm going to get absorbed into something and it'll just go. Yeah. So I've been trying to do exactly that, is to, set an alarm. Okay, well, let's see, I need this much time to get there and to get dressed. So set an alarm for an hour, beforehand to cue me, to say, okay, stop. And,
I was going to mention this to you, though, even like with my doctor's appointments, like the one I had today, I even set myself an alarm the day before reminding me that I have one the next day. Then I set a series of alarms that will keep going off. So if I do start to get off task, I'll bring myself back to where I need. And I mean, so I was going to mention that to you. And, if you're on Facebook, which you must be, a lot of times I'll write posts, but I'll write a post, but I won't make it public or even to my friends. I'll end up keeping it private, just so
that's a good idea.
It will jog my memory, or when it comes up in your memories a year or so later, you go, oh yeah, that's right, I did that 2 years ago or 5 years ago. And I also send myself emails, and it's just to me, and then I'll put something in the subject line, something that might be like example, tonight's conversation. I might put brain or whatever it may be.
Yeah.
And then when I want to, if there's something that I can't think of, you know,
Yeah.
okay, what might that be? And then I can type like brain into my Google search and it'll pick up everything I wrote, even though I don't send it to anybody but myself.
Mhm.
And I can go through my things, just a little reminders of thoughts that I had.
Yeah. Wow.
See, my problem is I forget about my reminders.
Yeah.
I think we all do, but you know.
Yeah.
I know.
But
I'm
we
just
all
playing.
have problems in that area.
Yeah.
But I think writing yourself things, I mean, I find it's kind of cool that I look in my memories, they'll pop up and I'll look at my memories and I might see something from 7 years ago that I never made public, but I'll read about it and it will remind me of what I was doing on that day 7 years ago. You know,
Yeah.
I mean, but it could help me with what's going on today, for an example.
Yeah. Well, you've made a real art out of it.
You just begun, sweetheart.
That's right. But I am starting to use that, and I keep a running calendar in my laptop that I look at every day.
Oh, that's
and
good.
yeah, and it'll send me little pop-ups, but not actually an alarm. But I can always, do the alarm on my phone. But I'm just really starting to get into that, and it definitely is a help.
You do better than I do. I don't do my calendar on my laptop, so you got one up on me.
Yeah.
We'll get Mike to teach us how to sync everything.
Yeah. There must be a way where I can do keep the calendar on my phone too, so I can look at it. I haven't figured out how to do that yet.
No, there is through Gmail.
Wait, which calendar?
Google's email.
Yeah.
I used to be able to switch phones. I just got to.
Facebook has a calendar that goes to your phone as well as Google.
Facebook,
but the calendar, Facebook is more like the events and not so much like stuff that you put in for yourself, though.
Yeah.
Oh,
so
I think the one that. Yeah, I think the one I've got that I'm using on the laptop is through. Is it maybe through Windows? Just through Windows 10, maybe.
It's done through Gmail. That's what I was saying before. Is Google has their own email, and that you can create. They have a calendar in that syncs up with your phone.
Oh.
I also have,
I'll have to look into that. Yeah.
Along with that too, I also have my Gmail and my Google. I have my maps, and it pops up. It pops up once a month and reminds me where I've been, which is really cool.
Yeah. I do that. I use Google for everything.
Another thing that you might want to do too is, like how we have Messenger on Facebook. I have 2 accounts, and like when I have to go out to the grocery store now, instead of writing down a list that I'm going to lose, I go on to I send myself, like I need to pick up Tylenol, I need to pick up butter, and I send myself messages, and I can take out my phone and look at my message to myself and remember what I need to buy in the grocery store, instead of getting home and not being able to find a piece of paper that I stuck in a different coat pocket.
Yeah.
That's a great idea.
I write it down on a piece of paper and then take pictures of it.
Yeah, that's cool.
There you go.
Yeah, I've done that.
I'll do that with like posters if I see like that a certain band is playing, or like if someone just tells me something, I just write it down, take a picture of it, and now it's in my phone. So now I have like 3,000 photos, and most of them are just reminders. So I actually have to go through them. But I mean,
That's a great idea.
It totally works.
Yeah.
Yeah, it
Then
does.
the writing it down helps me remember it, and then taking
Mhm.
the picture of it, it makes sure that I remember it.
Right, and then it will pop up in your Google photos and such along with your regular photos. Then if you got Dropbox, like the rest of us, it pops up all over the place.
Right.
Yeah.
You know,
Good ideas. All good ideas.
it sounds foolish, but I mean, I've got, like what she was saying, I've done that. I've written things down and then taken a picture of it, you know,
Yeah.
but then I have it so it goes to several different places. So if I miss it on Google or I miss it on Facebook, it's apt to pop up someplace else.
Yeah.
And where you said you didn't have a support person, that's a really big help because like I said, I've lost mine, so I know how important that is.
Yeah, it's made it very difficult to not have somebody because of there's been a lot of blunders that have happened and it's just no fault of my own. I can't, you know, there's a lot of things that I'm not able to keep up with.
What part of Florida are you in?
I'm not too far from Tampa.
Oh, really? It's nice over that
Yeah,
way.
on the West Coast.
Yeah, my family's over that way.
Hey, my sister's
Yeah.
opening up a cookie shop next week in Tampa.
Oh, good for her. That's great.
Yeah. She always has to bring cookies to all of our family events now.
Oh,
That's my neck of the woods. Because I used to love Tarpon. I used to love Tarpon Springs and Clearwater and St. Pete.
Yep.
Yeah, and I
Oh,
lived
I
in.
want to move down to
Lakeland.
Clearwater. Clearwater's so pretty.
Yeah,
You lived in
Yeah.
Lake what?
I lived in Lakeland twice.
Is it?
Yeah.
We had a double wide in Clearwater right across from Hooters.
Yeah.
So
But you only go for the wings, right?
I never went to Hooters, but I could always find where I lived.
That's funny.
Mm.
So what
Funny.
time is it, Michael? My brain's getting on overload. too.
It's I was just about to say it's 10 o'clock now, so I'm gonna get going. We're should end the call, and
What's
I'll be
next?
working. I'll be working on the call tonight because I got to upload it and then edit it and then put it online. But it'll be on probably over the next 12 hours. By tomorrow.
Cool.
What's
All right.
next week's topic?
I haven't come up with one yet. We'll have to see. If anybody has any ideas, let me know. So.
Okay.
Well,
Well, it's been nice talking to you all. You all have a great night.
Hopefully we'll see each other. All of us will be back on next Tuesday.
hopefully my friend will be able to get on. He's really interested. Like he said, fortunately, he's never had any catastrophic injuries or anything happen to him in his lifetime. So he's really interested in learning all he can and hearing from other people, so he'll be able to help me out.
Okay.
Well, that's such a great friend to have. Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We have the call. We have the calls at 3 o'clock Eastern time and at 8 o'clock Eastern time. So we have 2 each day. So if you can't make one, you can make the other or whatever, you know.
Right. He was trying to get on tonight, but I think it's cool. So.
All right.
It was nice talking to you all.
Thank you again.
Hey, thank you, Michael, for being such a good friend and recognizing me, even though I asked you not to.
I don't remember.
I know. You have a head injury. That's all right. I forgive you.
Sorry, guys, that I wasn't able to really participate tonight, but I did enjoy getting to hear all you guys. And,
yeah, you did. Hey, and what's that called again? What's that called again? So when I go look it up, you did. What's that thing called? A waiver?
Oh,
yep.
That was
Medicaid waiver.
The waiver, yeah.
Or TBI.
They call it a
TBI waiver.
Yeah, but
a brain injury waiver.
I'd really
it.
like to know, hey, can we discuss that next week? Are you going to be on? I'd really like to know more of what that waiver does. They didn't have that.
Every state does them differently. So it's very, very difficult to talk about those because everybody has their own budgets. Every state gets certain funding for it. So it's very, very hard.
Really?
Yeah.
So
it sounded interesting. Okay, everybody, I'm going to bed.
Talk to the Brain Injury Alliance in your state. That's the best thing I can offer you.
I will. I will do that.
They're the ones who gets the waivers.
Yeah.
Is it based that on income or is that based on your injury?
Neither. Well, if you have a traumatic brain injury and it's documented, that's what it's based on. It has nothing to do with your waiver. I mean, with your income.
That's what I was curious about. When I read it, I didn't understand. If it was based on income, I was afraid I wouldn't qualify.
Right. No, it has nothing. It's just a date of your TBI. That's all it really has to do with.
Cool.
Yeah. All right, y'all.
I'll show them this video and we can show them how much we all repeated ourselves.
It's okay because some people need to be reminded, so it works out fine.
That's right.
All right. Have a good night, guys.
Good night, everybody.
Good night, everyone.